my queens, it's Dana Persia. Welcome back to my channel. This is where you get the real deal on real beauty. It's Friday, and as you know, I always post on Fridays. I don't know if you noticed, but I have a brand new YouTube studio. I have brand new lights, I have a new camera, I have some new backdrops. So hopefully, the only thing I need to get is a microphone because I feel that the microphone on this camera isn't perfect. I am using the Sony ZV-1, which is an amazing camera for anyone wanting to get into YouTube. And I'm new and I didn't want all those complications of a Canon or a Nikon. So this is a great camera. I'll put the link up there, but I feel like the onboard mic isn't really doing what I needed to do, so I'm going to have to get a new microphone. But other than that, this is a new set. One of these days, I'll give you a little tour of my studio. Today, we're going to talk about concealer and how to get your concealer not to crease. I see a lot of people on YouTube doing different videos, and I'm a professional makeup artist. I've tried everything. I am a huge concealer user. I have terrible dark circles, and I've tried just about everything on myself and on my clients. To bring you a little tutorial on how to do your under eye concealer from start to finish, some of the products that I use, how I use them, and the best foolproof way to stop under eye creasing with concealer. Now, let me preface this by saying nothing is foolproof. I've seen YouTubers out there saying this is a surefire way, your concealer isn't going to crease. I'm sorry to say, it's going to crease at some point. Unless you're 20 years old with no wrinkles at all and no laugh lines, you're going to have some settling of makeup into your fine lines and wrinkles. And as we age, they get worse. But don't let that stop you from wearing concealer, because you don't want to walk around with dark circles. That's the worst thing you can do, right? You want to find some concealer, some corrector, some tricks and tips on getting your concealer to not only look amazing and minimize your dark circles, but also stay all day. But I did want to say that what works for some people doesn't work for others, but I'm going to bring you today my pro tips on how to make that work. You just take off my under eye concealer as we're sitting here talking. I don't know about anybody else, but this COVID is really starting to get to me. It's November, and I was hoping to visit my family out of town, but unfortunately that's not going to happen because I'm really afraid to travel. And so nowhere for me for the holidays, but I don't know, my fiance and I are going to have our own little Christmas and Thanksgiving together. Okay, so I just used a makeup wipe. These are just gentle makeup wipes. I love makeup wipes. If you're in the middle of playing around with makeup, always have them nearby because they're good in a pinch. So as you can see, I took off my under eye concealer, and what I like to do is start with an under eye, sort of almost like a primer for under the eyes. So one that I've discovered is by Peter Thomas Roth, and it's Skin to Die For Darkness Reducing Primer. I found that I've tried a lot of different under eye primers, and like an eyeshadow primer, you have to find one that works for you. Now, I skip the eye cream if I'm going to be using this, because too many products, right, are really going to cause a problem and are really going to start creasing. So I take a little bit and I pat it under the eyes. Okay? And I love this because the texture is so silky. Just love it. I did a Wedding Wednesday video and I talked about how I'm loving Peter Thomas Roth. I've always loved his skincare, and this is one of those products I picked up I was like, let me try it. It has a little bit of color in it, but when you rub it in, it goes away. So I'm even gonna bring that into the corners of my eyes, right? Because I'm gonna be putting concealer there. And I like to let it set for a couple of seconds. So the reason I like to let it set for a couple of seconds is you want it to absorb into the skin. You want it to absorb into the under eye. If you start layering all these products, you're gonna get, things aren't gonna lay right? You're gonna get a lot more creasing. So I always recommend, if you start, even if you put your eye cream on, wait a few minutes before you put your concealer on. I have a bunch of concealers here. I wanna just tell you some of my favorites, and some of them are drugstore and some of them are higher end. So some of my favorite drugstore concealers are as follows. It's NYX Born to Glow. If you haven't tried this, it's amazing. It comes in a lot of colors and it has this cute little puff, right? I love things that are double duty, right? So this is a good one you can put in your purse on the go. Another drugstore concealer that I absolutely love is L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear. I believe this rivals Tarte's Shape Tape. I really do. I think that they both have very similar consistency and they both have similar wear and similar coverage. So Tarte is the higher end and L'Oreal Infallible is your drugstore brand. I love this as well. And then last but not least is Maybelline's Eraser, Erase Rewind. These are pretty much the same. One's called a concealer corrector and one's called just a concealer. They pretty much both act the same way and work the same way. I love these too because they have sponges, right? Love, these are mine, so they're a little messy. My kit makeup is immaculate, but my personal makeup is a mess. So, you know, I just love these sponges. They're really great. Again, these are great to throw in your purse. They're on the go. So now for a higher end, I do love Tarte Shape Tape, one of my favorites. I have this in my kit. I use this on all my clients. By Urban Decay Weightless Complete Coverage Concealer. Line of products. This gives you a lot of coverage. This is Power Play Concealer. Power Play Concealer by Cover FX. And I will put links to all these products in my description. Another product I recently discovered was by Charlotte Tilbury. As you know, I love Charlotte Tilbury, and this is an amazing product. I'm gonna use it today. I'm gonna layer some concealers. This one is, this is medium number 2, and it's a corrector. So you kind of put this under your concealer, right? So if I have a lot of purple, I wanna use something that has peachy tones, which this does, and it's so silky. That's why I love it. It's just silk. I just love it so much. So we're gonna use this, and that's pretty much it as far as the concealers in my personal makeup. So the eye primer has set, and we are going to use my Charlotte Tilbury corrector. I use my finger for this. Under the eye. And I feel like this just takes out that purple like immediately. I put it in the corner of my eye as well. You can see the difference. We're gonna do this eye. And I have a little mark on my face. It's like a bit of, I don't know, hyperpigmentation over the years. And I like to kind of bring the concealer, the corrector down. I like to give it a little bit of a swipe of concealer. I think for me and my dark circles, it really works. So we're gonna use my NYX Born to Glow, since this is really my top favorite drugstore brand. And take the little puff, do a couple dabs, like that. No triangles here. We don't need a lot of concealer under the eyes. You can even bring it up to the corners of your eyes. And then I will use my concealer buffing brush. Love this buffing brush. I'll put a link for you. And I just buff it in as well as I can. Bring it into the corner. I have a little eyeshadow on, but I can show you how to do this even with eyeshadow. I don't have a lot of eyeshadow on. I'm a big concealer user because I've always had dark circles, and you know, they kind of run in the family. They're hereditary. They're caused by a lot of different things. Obviously not enough sleep, but also allergies, and just the coloring of your skin can cause you to have dark circles. People ask me all the time, how can I get rid of dark circles? And you can't. You can only cover them. There's so many products out there that claim, there might be a few that can lighten them a tiny bit, but it's really not possible to. You can do a lot of things to camouflage dark circles, but you can't really, it's hard to get rid of them. So that's why I wanted to do this video. Okay. And I actually always put a little concealer around my nose because I have some broken capillaries. Okay. So I have my concealer on. See my sweeping motions? That actually also helps to get rid of any creasing or lines, right? Okay. Now, here comes the trick. You are going to take, this is going to sound really weird, setting spray. This is by Skindinavia. You can get this on Camera Ready Cosmetics, which is a website that I love, that most pros do order their products from, but you can, as you know, if you're not a pro, you can also, so I'm going to put that link up. I am an affiliate, so I do get a little bit of kickback from this, but this is, I find this comparable to Urban Decay's All Nighter. I have a little mini one. These, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that the same company makes Urban Decay's formula. So go on Camera Ready Cosmetics and try out Skindinavia. This is the makeup finishing spray. Okay, they have a bridal one, they have a matte one, but this is just a normal setting spray. So I take some of it and I spray it on the back of my hand. I want you to pat it under the eye. Okay? You're gonna pat it under the eye. So you're setting that concealer. We're gonna put powder on, but we're setting the concealer. Okay? Before we do anything. We're gonna wait a few minutes. So now I'm going to use Laura Mercier's Secret Brightening Powder. I don't know if anyone has discovered, if you've all discovered this, but if you haven't, this is a great under eye powder. So I'm gonna take my under eye concealer buffing brush and I'm gonna dip into the product and tap. Dip and tap. You do not need a lot. See how it's coming off? Okay. So you don't really need a lot. Now you're just going to go under the eye. You can actually reuse the product that's on the brush under the eye. And this will not only set your concealer, but it will help your concealer not crease. Under eye primer, you want to do a corrector and then a concealer, and then you want to do your setting spray trick that I showed you, right? Let it dry for a couple seconds and then take your powder. Now, another powder that is really great is also on the Camera Ready Cosmetics. This is by RCMA. A lot of pros use this product. This is a great translucent powder. Okay, so it's just no color powder. And it has pretty much the same consistency as the Laura Mercier. So this is an option, and Laura Mercier is an option. Now, I'm looking at my eyes. I think they look great. I don't see any creasing. Now, here's another little trick you can do. If you find let's say you're doing your lips, right, or the rest of your face, and you're starting to see a little creasing, all you need to do is take a Q-tip. Sometimes if you just push the crease in the opposite direction, it'll just take that out. That last bit of creasing will take that out. It's a simple trick, but it works. So that's my technique on keeping the under eyes from creasing. If you feel like you're a little dry after the powder, go ahead and use a moisture mist. and set your whole face, and that will really, really kind of bring up the dewiness in your face. It will settle under the eyes a little bit and act as just another way to set your makeup. When you're using any kind of powder, it's really great to use a moisture mist. So that's what I have on under eye concealers. I didn't rate the concealers. I just figured I would tell you what I've used as a pro over the years, what works for me. There's a lot of trial and error if you feel like you're going crazy with the concealers. It's because there's so many out there, and you have to try them on your own skin chemistry. You have to try them with your makeup that you're using, your type of makeup, and how you wear it. And, you know, I don't leave the house without concealer. I could leave the house with anything else, but my concealer is the first thing, and it's the first thing I put on my client. So if I'm doing a face of makeup, the concealer is where I start. Of course, primer goes on first, but the concealer is the first makeup that I use. And then I go from there and I build the face from the concealer. I feel like if your eyes and your dark circles are concealed, we can kind of see where the makeup is going. I hope you like that. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell, and look for more videos to come. Take care, my queens. Have a great day.